If you want to improve your writing speed and quality, then pay close attention. This is an insider secret that helps you write more, better, and clearer. I'm Justin Hitt from Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips. Both Dragon Natural Speaking and Descript offer a way to take audio recordings of regular speech and turn them into text. If you start with an outline, you'll be able to write pieces very quickly because you have organized your ideas, research, headlines, and other materials. So listen carefully. What I'm talking about is dictation for success in writing. I'm responding to a message board comment and writing in some revisions to a report I put together a while back about improving your functional work both as a consultant or freelance writer using dictation. Dictation is where you use speech and then have it transcribed in order to create content. So whether you're doing draft assignments for clients, you're doing work for yourself, you can actually speak your way to better and faster writing. So what I have in front of me right now is actually my reply. It's kind of an outline, and I'm just going to share it with you. The key is that when you present your writing as if you're talking to an audience, you're going to end up with a more clear talk. Plus, the transcription speeds up the time. It basically, once the recording's done, you can hand the transcription to somebody and they'll write up your draft. So it speeds up your availability. It reduces the amount of time you need to put an assignment. Now, speaking your presentation allows you to put in emotional inflection and other characteristics of writing that are not normally available on the simple written page. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that translates into the written text, but when you're doing your presentation, you're speaking to an audience, it really is do or die. You're going to have an audio recorder in hand. You're going to have a smartphone. You might even be in a micro studio, but literally you could just sit in a quiet area and record your draft. Now, again, the outline is going to be the research, the materials from interviews. It's going to be a description of your target audience. It's going to be the ideas and concepts that you're covering in an organized way. I personally like to spread these things out on a table and then stand up and walk around the table, kind of stalk it. So in this case, I have an outline on the screen. I'm reading the segments. I'm not reading word for word, but I'm reading the segments in order to convey to you the value of using dictation and transcription in your writing workflow. Now, most of the time, nobody but me hears the audio recording. So the transcription software takes the audio recording, it produces text. I hand that text to an editor. That editor cleans up the spacing, and it doesn't have to be a good editor. It just has to be somebody who's going to put the paragraph breaks in. They're going to clean up the punctuation. Because again, when you're doing a speech presentation from an outline, you're not going to use the dictation marks such as period, end of line, or period, new line, quote. You're not going to be calling out the punctuation. So again, when writing short talks and you're the subject matter expert, you can actually even use these recordings like I use these podcasts in order to add to reports or supplements, and you can have in your contract some kind of, after a few years, the rights revert so you can use your own recording. But there are times I write speeches for clients, and the client will take my draft, which again, I have spoken, had transcribed, had written into a draft, and then finalized it, and then the client might hire a narrator or they may speak the same presentation. It really helps you with the pace and the flow of materials. Now, you can work with an outline, a stack of index cards, PowerPoint deck, or a storyboard. No matter what, it allows you to walk through the assignment without missing anything. Because that's the real challenge that keeps people from using dictation. They believe it's something other than communicating that core message because it's spoken rather than written. Now, by doing this, you're actually going to gain confidence speaking. You're going to be able to organize your ideas more readily and ultimately speed up how quickly you're able to finish an assignment. Now, the audio goes off to a service, and I'm not going to go into the specific services that are available, but it basically comes back a typed draft. So you might get a Word document or a text file that is literally your presentation in a written form. That means you didn't have to sit there and type. You didn't have to sit at a desk and get a strained neck. You didn't have to stare at a screen. You essentially started from an outline, produced your materials. Now, if you're a writer with billable work, the last thing you need to be doing is any heavy editing. You take that typed draft, you hand it to an editor or a copywriter who's going to go in there and worry about grammar and punctuation and stuff. Now, because you're speaking the content of the assignment, you are going to use a more colloquial or a more conversational tone. That is okay. You don't want an editor who's going to add anything to the materials. You just want them to buzz through the materials, clean it up the best as possible, and then you'll edit the final version. Now, with well-trained software or transcriptionist, you can speak as fast as 250 words per minute. Now, remember, as long as you speak clearly, a service can slow down the audio. But if you're speaking to a live audience, which I've done many times, spoken to a live audience and then had it transcribed, you're actually going to be speaking closer to 150 or to 170 words per minute. Now, what does that mean for you as far as productivity? Well, with a presentation, that's 9,000 words in 45 minutes. So it's about 150 words per minute, speaking slowly and clearly so the audience can understand you. That is 9,000 words in 45 minutes. Can you see how this works out pretty well? You can start with an outline and in 2 days have ghostwritten 36,000 or 60,000 word reports. You could actually write a book in a weekend. And we do that often with clients who are doing positioning papers and research reports so that they can basically go from idea to written materials at the speed of their voice. Now, 36,000 words is actually 24 feature-length articles, each article about 1,500 words, or a complete newsletter series. So a lot of you folks that say that you don't have time for a prospect newsletter, you don't have time for marketing materials like a magnetic marketing campaign, there really isn't any excuse because in 2 days, very casually, with an outline, you could get together a complete year's worth of materials. Now, I want you to note, I know there's a lot of folks doing the math here. They're getting paid $1 a word. They're getting paid 25 cents a word. You're obviously in the wrong place because this newsletter isn't about that. This is the kind of productivity that lets you have 5-figure assignments. It lets you do quality work for larger pieces. It allows you to really go from idea to results very quickly. Now, the customer is not going to see how quickly it goes, but ultimately it gives you the flexibility to do better work. And the reason why is because there's an unlimited supply of transcriptionists and editors who will work for 7 cents a word, up to 40 cents a word. Now, this is not expensive because, again, all this free time you're creating for yourself, you can spend finding better quality clients. If you're a type of copywriter that wants $10,000 assignments, $20,000 assignments, or at least regular work as you move towards $1 million in gross, then you're in the right place. See, as a copywriter, a marketer, or a business development professional, your ability to communicate matters. Your ability to get those words down on paper matters. And dictation as part of your workflow is going to be a huge productivity gain. Now, real quick, what's the difference between dictation and transcription? Well, dictation is going to allow you to do short letters very quickly and include the punctuation. Transcription is where you work from an outline and you produce an audio recording of a presentation, which is then transcribed, meaning the software or the people turn your voice into words, but it gives you audio and a really good draft day one. Now, what do you do with the audio? In my case, I use it for podcasting to promote my consulting services. I use the audio as a background for a report. So if your outline is actually a book or a report, you can actually do the first chapter as audio and then give that away as your pre-promotion to promote the book itself. Now, again, it doesn't matter whether you're doing the audio or your client's doing the audio, or you've worked together to have somebody else do the audio. The key is that outline. That outline, that organization up front is what's going to make this go smooth and what is this going to make clean? Now, folks, there's so many writers out there that are working like all they have is a hammer and a chisel on stone tablets. This is about increasing your productivity. This is about giving you more time to market and reach higher quality customers. And this is about a workflow that drives higher quality work, 5-figure, 6-figure assignments. I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips. If you have questions about anything I've covered today, ask about report M1108A. That's report M1108A. For more than 15 years, I've been using transcriptions and dictation and even secretarial services in order to write volumes of materials for paid copywriting assignments, for technical writing, for many of the newsletters that I publish. If you have questions on this kind of implementation, I have written a whole program. I think I called it Dictation for Success. I'm doing a revision on it right now. If you'd like to get more information about that program, then visit us at www.adbriefings.co.uk. We're all about helping you be more productive as a writer, to grow your service, to transform your business into a higher value service that gets you larger, more consistent assignments, and then ultimately transform your customers' results with words that sell. Thanks for listening.